ahead.
Rule number 2. You are not allowed to do this or this because that is the same as saying yes or no. You cannot go like this, or because that is the same as saying yes. And you can't go like this, even teeny little ones, because that counts as a shaking of your head. Rule number 3. You have to give me an answer in 3 seconds or less. That means if I ask you, what is your name? You can't go, because if you run out of time, you're out. And the final rule, you are not allowed to repeat yourself.
What?
That means if I say to you, what is your name? And you say, my name is Ashtray. And I say, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What is that? And you say, Ashtray. That means you are repeating yourself and you are out.
No!
But you can do this. If I say, what is your name? And you say, Ashtray. And I say, excuse me. And you say, you heard me. And I say, so what is your name? And you say, Ashtray. Then you're not out because you didn't repeat yourself straight afterwards. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. So we're going to ask you guys to line up back row, line up here in front of the whiteboard. Back row only, middle row, and front row. You guys are lining up. So one line, Asher in the line. Thank you. Sophia, you are up first.
Okay, Septish. Now I can't see your face, so you're going to have to turn the camera up. There we go.
And there's a cushion for you, right?
Okay. So, is it Sophia? Sophia, is it your turn?
Yes, it is.
Sophia, is it your turn? 3, 2.
Sure.
Oh, did you say sure?
You heard me.
Oh, did I? Did you go like this?
You heard me.
Did you say you heard me twice? Ah, sorry. 1 down.
Actually, I'm going to have the chair.
Hi. I have a question. Can you do like this?
Well, you shouldn't really because it kind of looks like you're saying maybe. Does it look like that?
No. Wait patiently.
You have to give me an answer. 3, 2, 1. Sorry. Next.
Oh, yeah.
So, Khakis, is it your turn?
Yeah.
Khakis, you are out because you came in and you said, oh, yeah. Next. Oh, yes. You came in and you said, oh, yeah. Yes, you did. And that's the same as saying yes. Next. Hey, have we met before?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? What is your name?
Nicolo.
That's so funny. You look a little bit familiar.
How come?
I don't know. Have you come to one of these classes before?
Probably.
Oh. And how do you spell your name?
I have no idea.
You said, I have no idea. Sorry. Next. Oh, these guys are so easy. You look familiar too. What's your name?
Audrey. Yes.
Audrey.
You heard me.
Did I hear you?
Probably.
Did you say probably?
You heard me.
Ah. And how do you spell your name?
What was she repeating?
3, 2.
Lania.
Sorry?
Not. You heard me.
No, but I asked you, how do you spell your name?
Spell it. I don't know.
You said, I don't know. You can't say the word no. Next. Woo! They are falling like flies. Who are you?
Seisha.
Seashells?
Aubrey, so your turn to go to
Maybe.
the back of the line so you
I said maybe. Next. I love it. Oh, hold on. You look familiar. I'm sure I've met you before. What's your name? Who?
standing right
You heard me.
Did I hear you, Lily?
No,
now.
I did.
And how do you spell your name?
Stand in your spot still.
Did you say I don't know? Are you allowed to? What did you say? You said the word no. Now go another one bites the dust. Woo! Oh, I got you out already, didn't I?
No.
You said no. Another one bites the dust. Woo! Don't fall for my sneaky tricks. Didn't I just get you out? 3, 2. Oh, probably. What is your name?
Sasa.
Sasha? Or
What's
how do you spell that? S?
what the?
Now, how do you spell your name?
Different alphabet.
Oh, it's the alphabet. Is that right? 3, 2. Oh, but are you answering any of my questions?
I have no idea.
You said I have no idea. Another one bites the dust. Next. Oh boy. I don't think you can even handle this. Do you think you can handle this?
Probably. Thank you.
Ah. So let me ask you this. How old are you?
7.
And what's your favorite TV program?
I do not.
I saw that head shaking. Next. But didn't I get you out already?
Yeah, but we still
You
can
said,
do
yeah,
that.
got you. So if I got you all out, then let's get to our first brain teaser. Woo!
So what's
Hold
your
on. Louisa, you haven't had a turn yet.
That is very true. Miss Peguero hasn't gone yet. So is everyone ready?
Oh. And I'm planning to get you out too.
So we can hear if he's gonna trick me up or not. And everyone can actually sit on the rug to check to see. And you guys better help me. You better be my helpers.
No.
Oh, you're gonna be my helper. Take a seat. Ow.
All right.
Is everyone ready to see this challenge?
No. Yes. Get out.
Okay, I'm ready.
Am I allowed to be sneaky?
No. Yes. No.
You can't say no or yes because then you'll all be out. You're not allowed to speak. Shh. Right. So, Louisa, what is your favorite food?
Lasagna.
Do you like lasagna with chilies in it?
I like lasagna with tomato sauce.
Oh, just tomato sauce.
That's good.
And meat.
Oh, and meat. So you're not vegetarian?
I like all kinds of vegetables.
Ah, and what month is coming up next?
My birthday is on Monday.
Is it? That is so cool. Did you go like this? Another one bites.
Guys, out of time, I will
touch me. Well, you already went.
Excuse me, guys.
Don't touch me.
So I will wait till everyone settles down and let's actually take a seat. I don't know if we're gonna be able to play this game one more round
No,
because
we're definitely not going to be able to play another round because we've got some brain teasers for them anyway.
right. So before we begin our brain teasers, I just want everyone to settle in their seats first.
Sure.
So I would sit down.
Can we fix
In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so let's see where everyone's at. Sophia, I would like you to take your Your little student, move it a little bit towards the back. Beautiful. Valeria, you can take this chair, or would you like the cushion? You can take it a little bit back over here. Beautiful. Nicolo, is that your spot? Can I trust you in that spot to focus? Beautiful. Hawa, are we all settled and are we all good? Beautiful. Kari, what is the question? Can you got a whiteboard to work on your words? Yeah, the word problem? Actually, we're not going to do that because Steve has some really good brain teasers that he's going to tell us all about. So I think we're ready.
Oh, good. Right. So once upon a time, there was a fruit factory. They didn't make fruit in the factory, but they packed the fruit in the fruit factory. And they had 3 boxes that they would pack the fruit into. The first box was oranges. And what do you think went into the orange box?
What do they have in the first box?
Just oranges. The second box had a label that said apples. What do you think they put into the box that was labeled apples?
Nicola, apples?
Apples. And the third box said mixed. What do you think went in that one?
Oranges and
Oranges and?
apples.
And apples. So there were 3 choices. You could buy a box of apples, you could buy a box of oranges, or you could buy a box of mixed fruit, which was apples and oranges together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And all the farmers were bringing in all their fruits, and the person in charge of the boxes would put all the fruits into the right boxes. Then you put a label on top of the box, and then he would move the boxes off to be sold. One day, the person who was supposed to put all the labels on the boxes, he didn't come to work. He wasn't feeling so good. And the boss phoned him up and said, "Where are you? People want to buy the fruit." So he said, I've just taken a lot of medicine. I really don't feel so well. And the boss said, "I need you here right now." So he goes, "Okay, I'll come to work, but I'm just telling you, my brain isn't working the way it should." He says, "I don't care. You've got to pack those boxes." He gets there, and because of the medicine, his brain wasn't working so well. He puts all the wrong labels on the boxes.
Really?
So if you see a box that says apples, is that the apple box?
No.
If you see a box that says oranges, is that the orange box?
No.
And if you see the box that says mixed on it, is that the mixed box?
No. There's
No.
nothing.
So now, here comes my question to you. Imagine you could go and put your hand into one of the boxes without feeling around, and your eyes are closed. You put your hand in one of the boxes and you pull out a fruit. Do you think you'd be able to tell what box it was by pulling out one of those fruit?
No.
Well, let me draw it for you so you can have a look to see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to open up the drawing. Here we go. And I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so here's box number 1, box number 2, and box number 3. This one says oranges on it. This one says apples. And this one says mixed. Now, these labels are all wrong. If it says mixed, it's not the mixed box. If it says apples, it's not the apples box. And if it says oranges, it's not the orange box. Does that make sense? Okay, so malaria, if you go put your hand into the orange box and you pull out an apple, what do we know about that box?
That is the that was supposed to be the apple box. Or what else? Or it was a mix.
So that's a bit confusing, isn't it? You pull out an apple from the orange box, it's either the apples box or it's the mixed box. So we still don't know yet. Let's see. Sash, if you were going to pull out another apple from that box, now do we know what box it is?
Oh.
So who are we going to pick? Let's see. We're going to choose seashells.
Me?
Yes. What do you think? If you pulled out another apple from the oranges box, is it the mixed or is it the apples box?
I think it might be.
Do you agree it could be either? So if it could be the mixed or it could be the apples, we still don't know the correct label to put on that box. So here's my question to you. If there were 100 fruit in each box, what is the fewest number of fruit you would need to pull out of any of those boxes to correctly identify the labels that should go on those boxes? Does that question make sense? I'll say it again.
Here, one more time, please.
I'm going to say it again. If every box has 100 fruit, so that's 100 apples, 100 oranges, and 50 apples and 50 oranges in the mixed box, we know that all the labels are wrong. If you had to put your hands in those boxes and you had to pull out fruit, what is the fewest number of fruit you would need to pull out to know for certain which label should go on which box?
Oh, I know this. So, everyone who knows, just sit quiet. Everyone who's thinking about it, I'll repeat the question one more time. How many fruits? What is the least number of fruits that you would have to take out of the box to find out what category is it or what fruit is it?
Well, which label should be on that box? So, for example, if you said 5 fruit, and I say, okay, 5 fruit, and you say, yes, you pull 5 fruit out of the orange box. And I ask you, what did you pull out? And you say, I pulled out 5 apples. Does that tell you what label should go on that box?
Remember, one of them has 100, 50, 50.
Think about that. What is the fewest number of fruit? Now, Malaria and Khakis and Nick's, Picnic, you guys all had your hands up. So let's go with Picnic first. What do you think?
35.
Why?
Random guess.
It just seems like a good number. Okay. Khakis, what do you think?
51.
Why?
Because in order for there to be the mixed box, there has to be 50 and 50. If one of those apples there are 51 apples, we know that there is already know that it's the apples.
Okay, so Khakis, I agree with you. You would be absolutely correct in saying that. However, you can do it in less than 51 moves.
Yeah, let's say random.
Actually, does anyone have another?
And remember, you don't have to pick them all from one box. You could pick one from each box if you wanted to. Or maybe 5 from each box if you thought that would be better. Malaria, what was your answer?
50.
15 or 50? 50.
15.
1, 5. Why do you say 1, 5?
Because you could pick 5 from every box and no.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's take 5 from the orange box. You pull out 5 apples. What does that tell you?
5 apples in the box.
It tells us it's either apples or mixed. We don't know yet. And let's pretend you pull out 5 oranges from the apples box. Does that tell us if it's oranges or mixed?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. So that's 10 fruit we've pulled out so far. And if you pull out 5 oranges from the mixed box, what does that tell you?
That tells you that that's the orange box.
So right now, 15 is the smallest number. Can you beat it? Can you do it in less than 15? Who's got their hand up at the back there? Who's next to Nick? I'm just having a look through the webcam there.
Well, I think it's 3.
You think it's 3?
Yeah.
How would you pull them out of the boxes in 3 moves?
Well, wait.
Would you take 3 out of one box, or would you take 1 out of each box? Or would you take 2 out of one and 1 out of another?
I need to think.
You're allowed to think. Nico, you're going to go from a random guess to now you've got an answer? Mm-hmm.
I think it's 2 because if you do like the mix, you just take an apple and an orange, and then you feel their skin, and then you know it's mixed.
Ah, but then that means you're putting your hands in and you're feeling around. You're not allowed to do that. You've got to put your hand in and pull 1 fruit out. And then straight away, you will know what fruit you have in your hand, but you can't look in the box to see what else is there. Malaria, what are you thinking? Are you changing your answer?
I agree with Nicolo, too. You take 1 from the apple and 1 from the mix. And the mix has oranges in it. How do you know? No, wait, 3.
You're back to 3 now. So you take 1 from each box. Well, I'll tell you what. You will find out the correct labels with 3. But can you beat that? Can you beat that? Lily, what do you think? What does Lily think? Not sure? Do you give up?
Yes, I even give up. I don't know.
The answer is you can do it in 1 move.
What?
I know. How crazy is that? And you were so close to working it out. Once I teach you this trick, you can go and try this at home and drive your parents crazy. I know how much you love doing that. So, if I go to the orange box, and I'll draw it for you. If I go to the orange box and I pull out an apple, what do we know about this box? It's either the apples or it's mixed. Do you agree? This apples box is either oranges or mixed. And this box is either oranges or apples. Do you agree? So let's move to this box over here. If I pull out 1 fruit, let's pretend I pull out an orange. What does that tell me about this box? It's either orange or apple. So what is it? It's the orange box. So if this is the orange box, then this can't be the orange box. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Then this has to be the mixed box. But if this is the mixed box, then this can't be the mixed box. This has to be apples.
Yeah, but
I'll show you again the other way around. What would happen if you pulled an apple out of this box? Then it has to be the apple box. Then this can't be the apple box. This has to be the mixed. And if this is the mixed, this one can't be the mixed. It has to be oranges. So just by pulling out one fruit over here, you could easily work it out. So here's how you are going to amaze your families. You get 3 boxes, one with nuts, one with raisins, and one mixed. So let's draw that. Where's our little drawing? Let's go like this. Let's go here. New. Don't save. Okay. Nuts, raisins, and mixed. Now, we all know that if the labels are wrong on these boxes, this has to be raisins or mixed. This has to be nuts or mixed. And this has to be nuts or raisins. Do you agree? So what you do is you tell your mom and dad that you give them 3 containers, one with nuts, one with raisins, and one with mixed, and you give them 3 labels, nuts, raisins, mixed, and tell them they must put the wrong labels on these containers. So once they put the labels on the containers, you tell them they must pull one fruit or one item out of the mix box. And if they pull out a nut from the box that says mixed, what does that tell you?
that's the nut.
That's the nut box. And then you know this can't be the nut box. That has to be the mixed box. And if that is the mixed box, this can't be the mixed box. It must be the raisin box. Who kind of understood that?
Me.
Did you understand that?
I understood.
So where do you begin? If you begin,
It's quite a complicated thing. Was that a tough one?
That was hard, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you one that's a little bit different. Listen very carefully because I might be sneaky. And I know how much you love it when I'm sneaky. Do you like when I'm sneaky? Oh, yes. Right. Here goes. You are a prisoner and you've been sentenced to death. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
It means that they have decided that because of whatever crimes you have done, they are going to kill you. And of course, you don't want to die. So listen carefully to this part. The emperor, the person who has decided that you must die, he comes past and he says to you, I'll give you a chance to survive. And you ask him, well, what do I do? He says, here, and he gives you 2 empty bowls. So I'm going to draw that for you. Why? That's a good question. So let's go to share screen over here. And let's go like this. Bowl number 1, bowl number 2. They are both empty. You got that? And then he says to you that you've got 50 black marbles and 50 white marbles. 50 black marbles and 50 white marbles. You happy with that?
Yes.
He says you have to put those 100 marbles into the 2 bowls. And then what's going to happen is the king or the emperor will blindfold himself. He will mix the bowls around. He will mix the marbles inside the bowl, and he will pull out 1 marble from one of the bowls. If he pulls out a white marble, you will live. If he pulls out a black marble, you will die. What is the best way to put those marbles in the 2 bowls? Think about it. Maybe discuss it with each other. It might be something that if you do with a whiteboard, you could test it and say, what happens if I do this? Or what happens if I do that? And what's nice about this brain teaser is that you could do what we call role playing. You pretend you are in that situation and you ask, what would I do if I put, let's say, 50 black marbles in the one bowl and 50 white marbles? Is there a better way to do that? Think about that and discuss with each other. Go for it.
Put 25 each. 25 with the black and 25 with the
So,
white.
can someone repeat for me?
You have to use 100. You got 50 and 50.
White and black.
So, please raise your hand. I like Asher's quiet hand. Asher.
So basically, black.
Does everyone understand my
Yeah.
my drawing? Okay. So, what's the best way we can do this? Hello.
So you put 25 black.
Yes.
You put 25 black in one and
Yes.
25 black on the bottom and 25.
Ooh, let's do that. I'm going to draw that for you. Let me share the screen. I'm liking what I'm hearing here.
Then 20 of one and 25 at the top of the other.
Okay, let me have a look here. Let me go to share screen.
And what you're saying kind of looks like this.
Yeah.
So 25 black at the bottom, 25 black.
Okay, so you're going to put 25 black on the bottom, and you're going to put 25 white on the top, and then you're going to do the same thing over here. 25 white on the top and 25 white on the bottom. Is that what you're saying? Black on the bottom. Okay, so now the king, he gets these 2 bowls and he spins them round on the table. So they are moving around, and then he puts his hands in and he mixes them all up. And he puts his hands in, he mixes them all up, and then he pulls out 1 marble. Do you think you stand a better chance of living if you had 25 and 25 in this bowl and 25 and 25 in this bowl? Or if you just had 50 white marbles and 50 black marbles like we started off? What do you think?
I think you should put black on the top and the white on the bottom.
But he's going to mix them up anyway. So you're not going to have some marbles on top and some on the bottom. It's all going to get mixed up.
What do we think?
Just die.
No, you don't. Listen, if you had a choice and you wanted to play this game, you obviously want to survive. So you want to arrange the marbles in the best way. So what is your chance of surviving if you had 50 marbles here, black ones, and 50 white ones here? What is your chance of surviving? How do we describe your chance? Yes, car keys?
And wrists and blood, sweat, and tears.
Okay, but now we want to actually work out like a number. How do you decide what your chance of winning, of surviving? So for example, if I roll a die and I get a 6, what is my chance of getting a 6?
Think about how many sides a die has and the numbers. So if you roll 6, what is the probability?
Bless you.
Whoa.
How many sides does a die have?
Or 9.
We're talking about 6 sides.
Change my idea.
Valeria?
Change my idea. Okay, so
Valeria has the floor right
the
now.
king's
Kari, Valeria has the floor right now. Raise your hand and do it out of it.
So, what you do is you put half of the black in one bowl and another half of the black in the other bowl.
Okay. And then half of the white and half of the white in the other bowl. So let me ask you this. We're going to compare the two situations. I want to see if your situation is any different to how we first started. I'm going to draw it for you. Have a look.
I think I know how to do it.
Okay, so you tell me. And before we even do that, maybe we just need to look at what we call chances, because I think chances will also help you to understand what I'm saying. If I have a die, here is a die, and it's got numbers on it, 1, 2, 3 dots. What is my chance of rolling a 6? Well, there are 6 sides, and I want to get one of those sides. I have a 1 out of 6 chance of getting a 6. What is my chance of rolling a 5? It's a 1 out of 6 as well, because I want to get one of those sides, and there are 6 sides. What is my chance of flipping a coin and landing on tails?
How many options? 2. So 1 out of 2.
A 1 out of 2, because there are 2 things that I could possibly get, and I want one of them. Does that make sense? Okay, so what would happen if I then had one bowl and another bowl, all right? And I put 50 white marbles here, and I put 50 black marbles here. What is the chance if he mixes these 2 bowls up with his eyes closed? What is the chance he's going to choose this one? And what is the chance he's going to choose that one?
1 out of 2.
A 1 out of 2. Because there are only 2 things, and he's going to pick one of them. So your chance of surviving, if he picks this one, you guarantee to survive. If he picks this one, you guarantee to die. So you have a 1 out of 2 chance of surviving. Does that make sense to all of you?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Malaria, you said, no, let's do it this way. Let's put in, let's put in 25 black marbles and 25 white marbles.
No, and then on the other one, you put 25 black marbles on the bottom.
Okay. All right, but that's fine. So let me ask you this. Are these 2 bowls the same?
Baby.
They are, because they've got the same number of marbles of each color. Do you agree? And if the king puts his hand in and mixes it all up, then do you agree that that will be the same as if the king put his hand in this one and mixed it all up? So then I ask you, does it make a difference which one he picks?
No.
So if he picks this one, what is your chance of surviving?
1 out of
How many marbles are there?
50.
And what is your chance of surviving?
25 out of 50.
25 out of 50. Because there are 25 white marbles out of the 50 marbles. Does that make sense? Does this look familiar to you?
1 and 2.
It's the same as 1 over 2, which is a half. So actually, if you put the marbles like this, or you had them as 50 white and 50 black, you're still going to have the same chance of surviving. So I want to improve my chances of surviving. So now we need to find another way to put those marbles in.
Okay.
So discuss it with each other. Come up with an idea.
So what's our idea? We need a bigger chance. We want more than 1/2. We want more than 50%. How can we do that? Remember, white means you live, black means you die.
Well, let me ask you this. If I said to you that there is a raffle happening in class and the winning prize is a hamper of Hershey's candy, like this size, it's huge. You'd have enough candy to last you a whole month. And there are 10 tickets. 5 of them are red, 5 of them are blue. And you've got 2 bowls. You've got to put those 10 tickets into the 2 bowls. Do you put all 5 in the one and all 5 in the other? So 5 red and 5 blue? Because your chance of getting, and let's say they mix the bowls up and they go, I'm choosing this bowl. It's either all going to be blue or all red, which means you have a 1 out of 2 chance. If you put some of the blue with the red, will that improve your chances? I see a hand up in the middle there. Strawberry, what do you think? Was that not Strawberry?
Nope.
Who was that?
That was malaria. Yeah, that was malaria.
No, I know malaria. Was it? I'm sure it was Strawberry. Where's Hawaii today?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, why are you sitting so quietly on the side there? What do you think?
Period.
You're not sure? Sushi, what do you think? You've been sitting there quietly too.
I'm thinking about something. Hey.
And what you will notice, boys and girls, is that today I gave you 1 or 2 tough problems, not the regular easy ones. And what is interesting about that is I wanted to see if smoke would start coming out of your ears, because a lot of thinking is needed for today's problem. Malaria, what are you thinking?
You put all 101 bowl and nothing in the other.
Okay, so you put all of them in one bowl. So then the king moves the bowls around and he picks one. If he picks the one with nothing in it, then you neither live or die. So you know what? The king's going to go, no, you can't have nothing in this bowl. You have to have at least one. But that was a nice idea, though. No one has actually thought of that, but that's not what you have to have at least one in the bowl. Car keys?
So you put 99 in one bowl and one white one.
Say that again.
Put 99 in one bowl and put one.
So let me see if I've got you right there. I'm going to draw that for you. And Louisa, you want to just say out loud what he just said?
Yeah, I'm going to also draw it here. So let's see if I get...
Did you say you put one in this bowl? And then?
Nine.
Are you saying the rest go in this bowl?
That one is white. One is white. No.
I didn't hear what you said, car keys. So is it one in the one bowl and 99 in the other?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, let's look at that. So we've got 99 here. So that means you've got 49 white marbles and 50 black marbles. And over here, you've got 1 white marble. Do you agree? Right. What is your chance of getting a white marble over here?
99 now.
Close?
How many whites do you have and what is the
Oh,
total?
49 now.
You have a 49 out of 99 chance. And you know what? 49 out of 99 is pretty close to 50 out of 100, isn't it? Which is the same as So this one, you pretty much have a half. In other words, a 1 out of 2 chance. What is your chance if this one is pulled out? It's a 1 out of 1. You're guaranteed to live. Do you agree?
Yep.
So if I took these two, this one you have a definite chance, and this one you have a 1 out of 2 chance. That is far better than having a 1 out of 2 and a 1 out of 2. Can you see that? And the tricky part is explaining why 1 out of 2, why 1 out of 1 is better than 1 out of 2. Let's pretend we're having a raffle and there's only 1 ticket in the hat. What is your chance of winning if it's your ticket?
Definitely.
Definite. That's a 1 out of 1. You're definitely going to win. But if you put 10 raffle tickets in and you only bought 1, you have 1 out of 10 chance of winning that raffle. Do you agree? And of course, if you bought a lotto ticket, I don't know how your lottery works in America, but in our lotto, you've got to pick 6 lucky numbers out of 40 numbers. And you know what your chance of winning is? 1 out of 14 million.
14.
You have a better chance of being killed by bird poop than you do from actually winning the lottery. And don't even ask me how bird poop could kill you. But I'm just saying you have a better chance. Can you imagine you riding on your bike and then all of a sudden a bird flies past and goes, and it goes in your eye and you ride off a cliff? Death by bird poop. What happens if you're eating an ice cream and the bird flies past on your ice cream? You eat it. You get so sick, you walk in front of a car. So those are all deaths by bird poop. And more of those happen than people who actually win the lottery. Because you got such a small chance. I met a guy who would buy 2 lottery tickets every time, and both lottery tickets were the same numbers. And I said to him, why on earth would you buy 2 lottery tickets with the same numbers? Because if you have a 1 in 14 million chance of winning with 1 ticket, if you buy 2 tickets that are different, you have a 2 in 14 million chance of winning. And he said, the reason I buy 2 tickets that are the same is because if I win and someone else gets the same numbers as me and they win, I have to split the money. They get half and I get half. But if I've got 2 tickets and both of them are winning tickets, then we split the money 3 ways. I get for 2 of the tickets and they only get for 1 of the tickets.
Wow,
Does that make sense?
Yes. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Because you have a greater chance. If you have to divide something into 3 people and you have 2 of those tickets, 2 is bigger than 1, right? So you get 2 times more than that other person will ever get. So smart.
So let me explain it this way. I ask you all to pick. Let's say you've all got to choose a number from 1 to 10, and you all pick your own number. And I say, write it on a piece of paper and put it in a hat. If you all put your numbers in the hat, and let's pretend 2 of you wrote down the number 5. And I say, whoever wrote down the number 5 wins a candy bar. And you're like, oh, I got number 5. And someone else goes, I got number 5. Then what do we have to do? We have to split that candy bar. You get half and they get half. Do you agree? But what would happen if I put 2 number 5s in the hat and you only put number 1? You only put 1 number 5 in. Then when we pull out those 3 tickets, I will, if you have to break the candy bar into 3 parts, I will get 2 of them and you'll only get 1 of them. Does that make sense?
Wait, but why would you make them
It's a tough one. And I thought this would definitely get you thinking. But now I'm going to give you something completely different, because I can see that these were definitely a little bit challenging for you today. And it's important for me to give you challenging ones every now and again, just to see how far I can stretch you. This one is crazy. You ready for it?
Whoa. Right, Craig.
Okay, here goes. Jimmy has lots of pets. And he decides he's going to pick one of his pets and he's going to have a staring competition. Have you ever had a staring competition with your friends before? So watch me. I'm going to have a staring competition. Look at this.
Ooh. He was going to blink. You going to blink?
Oh, no. I blinked. If you blink, you are out. So all of you, are you ready?
Wait, one more time.
No blinking. Staring competition. Starting from now. Oh, I blinked. Malaria, you blinked.
I didn't.
Woo, Seashells has got eyes wide open, but you can see she wants to blink. Oh, I saw a blink. You see how difficult it is? So this guy, he decides he's going to verse his pets.
Sorry, no. I don't want you to cry.
So guess what? Jimmy decides he is going to verse every one of his pets. And he goes to the cat. And he looks at the cat and says, "You're going down, cat." And he stares at the cat. The cat looks at him and goes, "Boop," and he goes, "Beat you." Next, the dog comes along. And he looks at the dog. And the dog goes, "Oh, got you." This is so easy. But then he has a showdown with the third pet. And guess what? The third pet beats him.
Who is it?
And the third pet will always beat him every single time.
Oh, sloth.
What kind of creature was the third pet?
Oh, sloth.
Think about it. It has to be-
Sushi, your hand was up super fast. Yes, Sushi?
A snake.
No. The snake still blinks. And I think after a while, he would catch the snake out. But this creature will beat him every time.
A snake doesn't blink.
Mm.
A sloth.
The sloth would probably blink pretty slowly because sloths are pretty slow. Have you ever seen a real sloth before?
Yes.
They're very cute, I must just tell you. Well, it's not a sloth. Not many people have sloths as pets.
Those are very dangerous.
Seashells, what do you think?
I'm just having a category guess. Okay. It might be like some kind of bug.
Ooh, why?
Because when I ever see a bug or something, I never actually see them blink or anything. So that,
How long are you staring at bugs that you know that they are blinking or not blinking? I would have been out of the room 5 seconds later. I'm not sitting there looking at the bug going, "Oh, is he blinking or is he not?" I'm gone. There's no ways I'm going to spend more time with that bug. Nikki, what do you think, Picnic?
fish.
Why do you say a fish?
Because fishes don't blink when they sleep. They always have an eye open.
Why?
Because they
I
have
was
a,
gonna say the same thing.
what?
I was gonna say the same thing.
Because they have an eye open when they sleep at night.
And their eyes are open during the day too. Why?
Because in case of an enemy, it goes away.
What do they not have that we do have?
Eyelashes.
Well, not eyelashes, but
Eyelids.
eyelids. we have eyelids that go over the eye and come back up again. Fish don't have eyelids. So if you are like Jimmy and you are planning to go and have a staring competition with your goldfish, just know that your goldfish is going to beat you. Yes, Sushi.
Come on. But snakes don't have eyelids too. Yeah, we don't.
I believe snakes do, and I'm going to just check quickly. You might be right on this one. Let me ask our very friendly Google, do snakes blink? And the answer is
Yes.
Who said snake?
Me.
So Sushi, who was the first person to say snake?
Ari or Sasa?
I want to say snake.
Okay.
Because snakes apparently do not blink either. So snakes would be another correct answer. Well done. And I thought snakes had like a thin skin that went over the eyes, but I've just discovered not true. Good job. Good job. You ready for your next one?
They don't have eyelids that go over the eye. You can still see it. Why do they call them eyelids?
Okay. Now I'm going to give you a tough one. Are you ready for this one? Okay. Once upon a time, there was a very poor farmer. And the farmer was getting hungry, but he didn't have money to buy food. All he had was a dog, a chicken, and some corn.
Eat the corn. Eat the chicken.
Well, the corn, it wasn't really going to fill him up. It might do one meal, but that's really it. He is really, really hungry and he needs to be fed for a few days. So here's what he does. He goes, and I'm going to share the screen with you. Here we go. And let's go there. So he's got his dog. He's got the chicken. And we're going to put corn. I'll just put a C-O there so you know it's corn. He's got all three of them over there. And he decides he's going to go to the market across the river. He's got a little boat. There's his boat. And he is going to go across the river all the way to the other side of the river because there is a market there and they will be able to buy things. So he knows that once he gets to the other side of the river, he's going to have to start at the tree and he's going to have to walk for an hour or so. But when he gets to the market, he'll get some money and he can use that money to buy himself something to eat. But here's the problem. His boat is very old. And he can only take him and one of these things at a time. So he thinks, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dog with me and we're going to go across the river and I'm going to leave the dog by the tree. And then I'm going to go back and fetch wait a second. Where did the corn go? That nasty chicken ate all the corn.
What?
So he realizes, I can't leave the chicken and the corn together. So now we're going to go back in the story. Instead of taking the dog, he decides, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to take the corn because I don't want that chicken eating the corn. And he is going to take the corn all the way over to the other side. And when he comes back, the chicken's missing. And the dog is smiling and rubbing his tummy. Why do you think?
He ate the chicken.
So he realizes, okay, I've got a big problem. I can't leave the dog and the chicken alone. And I can't leave the chicken and the corn alone. How does he get all three of them across the river safely without any of them being eaten? And remember, he can only go with himself and one other thing at a time. This is something you're going to have to probably draw on a whiteboard to see if you can work it out. And maybe you can work as partners and try and work out what would be the best way to get all three things across the river.
Nicolo, give it a shot.
So the dog is gonna go by doggy paddle. He's gonna.
Oh, no. He's got to take them across in his boat.
Oh, so he takes the corn in a bag and he takes the dog.
Only one thing at a time.
Oh,
That's why I said you probably might want to draw it and test out your ideas, because you really need to think this one through. And it does help if you've got a partner who maybe could throw some ideas and say, what happens if you do this? Or what happens if you do that?
Aubrey, give it a shot.
You could put the chicken on your lap and then put the dog.
You can only take one thing at a time.
I hate that old boat. Where's the corn? The chicken.
Why the chicken?
Eat, Dad. Eat.
What's wrong? Sorry, I got a bit distracted there. What was that?
Dogs eat corn.
The dogs do not eat corn, no. That's very helpful.
Chicken. Bring the
So what does he take first?
Bring the chicken.
Okay, so he takes the chicken across and he leaves it on the other side. And then he comes back to fetch what?
The dog. And then the corn.
dog.
No,
And then he fetches the corn. And then he takes the corn over and leaves it with the chicken. And then he goes back to fetch the dog. And when he comes back to bring the dog back over, chicken would have eaten all the corn.
Bring the chicken. Then bring the
Think
dog.
about this one.
Dog dies. Oh, then the chicken dies. Bring the chicken.
I think I know, actually.
Oh, put the dog.
We need to pay close attention. All eyes on me, everyone. So, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. You said the dog cannot eat corn?
The dog cannot eat the corn. Well, it won't eat the corn, correct.
Eat it. So, like Aubrey and Kari said, they want to bring the chicken first. But if we bring the chicken first to the other side, our other options are going to be to either bring the corn, which can be eaten by the chicken,
Bring the corn
or
first.
bring the dog that will eat the chicken. So I love that Nicolo said something, but I didn't see a quiet hand. So when someone gives me a quiet hand, I would love to pick up. Nicolo, try again.
So you put the corn, then the dog, and then the chicken, and they won't eat each other because then the farmer doesn't have to re-go back.
But don't forget that whatever you do, whichever one you take over, if you're leaving the other one on the other side, you can't afford to leave it on its own with something that could be eaten.
If you take the corn, then the dog is going to stay with the chicken and he might eat it. What can we do?
Oh. So you bring the corn and you tie the dog to like the farmer.
You can only take one thing at a time, and you can't tie the dog up because he'll pull himself out of the collar and chase the chicken all around, because especially if you leave a chicken all by itself next to the dog, you know there's going to be trouble.
Sasa, share.
Bring the dog first.
Okay, so we take the dog first, and while he's taking the dog, chicken is going, yum, yum, in my tum. There goes all your corn. Valeria, what do you think?
You bring the dog first, but you put the chicken inside its coop, and then you
No. You can't lock these things up. They need to be free.
Too hard. Like somewhere, like
Here's the good news. There are two answers to this one. What do you think, Khakis?
Bring the corn by itself.
Okay, so we take the corn across, we leave the dog with the chicken, and when you come back to fetch one of them, the dog is rubbing its stomach going, that chicken was yummy.
No, take chicken by itself on the boat by itself. In the farm state.
If you take the chicken by itself, you're leaving the dog and the corn. So far, so good. But then you've got to put the chicken on the other side. And then when you come back, are you fetching the dog or are you fetching
because of
the corn?
And how is the chicken going to get out of the boat and bring back the boat?
No, the corn goes by itself. There's nothing else except the corn.
Really? I've never seen corn rowing a boat before.
Oh, just push the boat on the other side.
Then how is it going to get back?
It's a very long river, and I don't think corn are very good at rowing boats. They might be great at popcorn, but they're not really good at rowing boats.
Nicolo, give it a try.
I forgot.
What do you think, Valeria?
So, I remember. Roll the corn on the other side. The corn with you.
Okay, so you go across to the corn, you leave the dog and the chicken. Bye-bye, chicken. What do you think? Yes, Picnic?
So, you call somebody to have with some money, and you give the person who came taking the dog and the corn for the money.
That's it. No, it's not. He didn't have a telephone. He couldn't phone anyone. Nice idea, though.
How?
Would you like to hear the answer?
Yeah.
I'll draw it for you. Let me go to share screen.
Steve's drawing. Esteban's drawing.
I think I know.
And this is actually a lot easier than you think it is. So we'll go like this. New. Okay. Dog, chicken, corn. Let's pretend he takes the chicken across. And he leaves the chicken on the other side. Will the dog eat the corn?
No.
So I'm just going to erase that. There we go. The dog and the corn are all alone, and the corn is safe. Do you agree?
Yes.
Now, he goes to fetch the dog,
And then the chicken
and he takes the dog across with him, and he's got the dog and the chicken on that side. Do you agree?
dog will eat the chicken.
He's not leaving the dog with the chicken. He takes the chicken back with him.
Why?
When he goes back, he takes the chicken with him. So now he's got the chicken over here, and the chicken is no longer on this side. And then he swaps it for the corn. So he takes the corn back with him instead of the chicken. So when he gets there and he puts the corn down, will the dog eat the corn?
No.
No. And then he goes back and he fetches the chicken. And when he brings the chicken over, he is there to supervise all three to make sure that no one gets eaten.
Yeah, so let me explain it to you, Nicolo. Nicolo walked in, so I'm going to explain the process.
Okay.
Everyone, please pay close attention if you missed it. So the first thing that Steve says the farmer did is everything is on the left-hand side. So he takes the dog to the other side first, right? Actually, no, he begins with the chicken, right?
Yeah.
So we begin with the chicken. We take the chicken to the other side, right? Okay. Then we say, actually, we're going to, I'm sorry, I feel like I missed it. What is it? Chicken first, bring back the
Dog. Take the chicken.
So he takes the chicken first and he leaves it on that side. And then he goes to fetch either the dog or the corn. If he fetches the dog, He brings the dog over, but then he swaps that for the chicken and brings the chicken back.
You got any comments? Yeah. But the dog won't eat the corn afterwards, but then he's taking the chicken, and then lastly he takes the chicken back. And every single time there's one item going back and forth. One thing going back and forth.
Does that make sense though?
What's the second answer?
The second answer is, well, if you take the first answer, that he goes like this. Let's go like this. New and don't say it. So let's say he takes the chicken across first. Then we've got the dog and the corn over here. This time he takes the corn with him. So he goes back and fetches the corn. He leaves the corn there and he brings the chicken back and he swaps that for the dog and brings the dog over. And the dog and the corn are fine. And then he brings the chicken back over. So you just pick which one he's going to leave when he brings the chicken back. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And that is one of those, what we call an old traditional brain teaser that has been around for years and years. It comes up in various shapes and sizes, but it's a nice one because you have to do what we call role playing. Pretend you are the farmer and what would you do in that particular situation. Let's see if I've got a completely different brain teaser for you. And I've got such nice ones here that are absolutely fascinating. Oh, here's a good one. The weather was fine and Tori was enjoying the flight when suddenly he saw something in the distance. It was a bright light. And he thought to himself, I have to get closer to see the strange, bright light. And he went closer and closer to the light. And when he got there, boom, he got electrocuted. What killed Tori?
Uh-oh.
What do you think killed Tori? So, Louise, you want to pick someone?
Kari.
What killed Tori?
Albert Einstein?
Albert Einstein killed Tori? Nope.
He's wasn't the one.
How?
Oh, Ben Franklin.
Is it electricity? Since you know when there's like lights on electricity.
Okay, so maybe there was electricity involved, but maybe you might try and explain the situation. Who was Tori?
Or it was a guy.
So do people normally walk around going, oh, look, there's a bright light. Let me go and touch it and get electrocuted? I don't think so. What do you think, Picnic?
I think that when he got so close to the light, he had a piece of metal, and then a lightning hit it because that yellow thing was lightning.
I have to tell you that if you're walking around with a piece of metal in your hand while there's lightning, you might be asking for trouble. But there was no lightning involved in this one.
He was on the plane.
No aeroplanes were involved in this one either.
Oh.
That's a big hint. Who was Tori?
Oh. Who was the sun? He's the sun. No.
Tori is the sun. Whose sun?
The sun, like the sun up in the sky that makes.
So the sun hit something that was bright and then died and got electrocuted. That doesn't make sense.
Some can get electrocuted.
Car keys, what do you think? What was the question? What color was the?
I think Tori was a robot.
Aha! Tori was not a robot. Nice try.
Play with a hot dog ball. A hot dog.
Ah, that's also not right. No.
Yeah, a potato.
I'll give you a hint. Tori is not what you think.
He's a human. Oh, he's an animal friend.
I think I'm gonna give everyone a hint.
He's a Pokemon. He's a Pokemon.
I see some hands in the front. What do you girls think?
Super.
Hawaii, what do you think?
I feel like it's a bug because, I mean, when I was at my house, when I was in an elevator, I saw a bug who was at, like, close to the light, and then it fainted down on the.
So you know what? You are absolutely
Correct.
correct. Well done. Well done. So
That wasn't even a hint. That was awesome.
Tori,
I remembered about some bugs.
so Tori was a bug, and Tori was flying around thinking, "Oh, I'm having a lovely day here," and goes, "Oh, look, a bright light. I love bright lights. I better go investigate." And goes, "Ew," and you know what it was? It was one of those bug zappers that have got the bright lights, and as soon as it flew into the thing, boom, it got electrocuted, and unfortunately, it got zapped.
Electrocuted. Phase 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh my word, we have to do that again. Ready?
Guys, we're gonna practice that one more. That was just practice. This is not the real deal. So settle down, unelectrocute yourself, find the seat, find the spot, and Steve, when you're ready, we will electrocute ourselves.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Careful.
I love it.
Back to life, guys. Back to life.
I mean, people would think that you guys are absolutely crazy.
3, 2, and 1. Are we back to live? Give me a smile now that you're alive.
Oh, I
Awesome.
love it. So I thought we would end off with a super cool game because I know that you guys like games, but this game is going to require a little bit of work. You ready for it? I'm going to choose a volunteer, and that volunteer is going to try and beat me at this game.
Okay.
Nope.
I'll explain the rules. The rules are very easy. What happens is, Lily, since you're standing up in front, I'm going to be versing you. Lily, you can either go first or I could go first. Who should go first?
Quickly.
Must I go first?
Go first, yeah?
Okay. So what happens is we're going to play a game where you have to count backwards, either 1, 2, or 3 numbers at a time. And then I get a turn to count back 3 numbers, or 1 or 2 numbers. And we keep going until one of us is forced to say 0 and they lose. So for example, Lily, let's pretend I go first and I go 30, 29. Now it's your turn to count backwards, either 1, 2, or 3 numbers. So from 29, what would you like to go to?
You can only go down or up.
She can only go down.
Okay. So his last number was 29. So you can go down from 29 1 time, 2 times, or up to 3 times. What number do you want to be? So wait, we got to go in order, right, Steve? We got to go in order from 20.
Correct. You've got to count down from 29. You can go 29. You can go 28, 27, because that would be 2 numbers. Or you could go 28, 27, 26, which is 3 numbers. She's got to decide what she wants to count down to.
What do you want? No, you have to pick either 28, that comes right before 29, 27, or 26. You can say just 28, you can say 28, 27, or you can say 28, 27, 26. So she said 28, 27.
Okay, I'm going to go 26, 25. Now it's her turn.
Remember, we're going down, backwards order. "23" is her number.
Oh, I'm going to go 22, 21.
That's how old I am. I'm gonna be 2.
Happy birthday to you.
We'll sing next week, and I'll bring a celebration just for this. Just for this after school.
Okay. Wait, whose birthday is it?
Let's focus back on the game.
Wait,
Lily,
whose birthday is it?
Spaghetti.
we'll talk about that later. Right? Guys, let's focus on the game. We have a few minutes left, and I want everyone to be able to play.
So right now I was sitting at 21. It is now Lily's turn.
20.
Did you say 20?
Mm-hmm.
Aha, getting sneaky there. I'm going to go 19, 18, 17.
Can you do this, Steve?
She said 16.
Oh, I'm going to go 15.
Stand 14.
Stand up and get closer to this one. Say that one more time. 14.
14. You sneaky thing. I'm going to go 13.
Lily, you can do it once. You can do 10. He's gonna win. Go to 10. I'm telling you. I counted.
So what are you going to do? I'm sitting on 13.
So keep working, Lily. So what's your next number?
Oh, I know.
12.
So Steve, what was your last number?
Lily?
Steve's last number was 13. Lily's turn.
Lily, what's your number now? Go ahead, Lily. What's your next number?
Does Lily have a number?
I don't know. Do you have a number? You gotta say it loud to Steve, girl. She's still deciding. So 13.
Oh, she's still deciding?
Wait. So 13. Steve said 13. Keep going, Lily.
Said 12, 11, 10.
12, 11, 10. I'm going to say 9.
Okay, so say it out.
Say a little bit louder because I ended with 9. What does Lily say?
7.
Ooh, sneaky peeky. Are you stopping at 7 or are you going lower than that?
No, she stops at 7.
She stopped at 7. I'm going to go 6, 5.
Oh, 4. 5. Yeah. No. Wait, don't say banana. I don't know either. 3.
Wait.
So what is her answer? I've said 4. So she says,
Away
oh, no, sorry. I said 5 and now it's her turn.
What are you gonna say? Do 3. If you keep minusing 1, say something. Yeah, if you keep say something.
Did she say? What did she say? So you're going down to 4? Then I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, which means you have to say 0. So that means I win. Now, I want to know,
I need to
is
talk to
there a
you.
way to win this every single time?
Hey, I need to ask you something.
I know the number. It's 1 more than -1.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's your challenge for next week. You can practice this game and see if you can work out a winning strategy to beat me. And Lily, I hope you're going to come back fighting. I hope you're going to try and beat me. But you know what? You're going down. You better prepare because I ain't going to lose.
You're going down.
We'll see about that. You might need some tissues in case you start crying.
Goodbye to Steve in Spanish again, just like we began. So everyone, please come back to our area in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have to say goodbye to Steve, and we're gonna practice first. So
And I'm
everybody,
learning Spanish. This is fantastic.
one more time.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
And then I say adios, amigos.
Adiós, nos vemos. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.